know if you've ever wondered what life is like for Christians who have to keep their faith secret. But for the next few minutes, I'm just going to share a few things that you can do just from your home to be able to identify with what life is like for Christians who choose to follow Jesus even though it's dangerous. You see, in places all over the world, Christians can't meet together, not publicly at least. In places like Iran, Eritrea, Somalia, it's illegal, and if you do meet together and you get caught, you're definitely going to be arrested, if not killed. It's dangerous. And so if you do meet together, you have to be really secret about it. And it doesn't happen very often, maybe only every few months. So when you do meet, you're both really excited to see other Christians, but you're also pretty nervous what happens if the police show up. And so when this happens, you've got to make sure that you've got a location that's secure. It's normally just pretty normal. You don't want to cause any attention on you. So it's normally just someone's living room. And you turn up and you make sure that the curtains are drawn, make sure that the windows are shut. You don't want anyone seeing or hearing what's going on. The door's closed, maybe the lights are off. And so right now, why don't you do that in your room? Shut the curtains, close the door, don't draw any attention to what you're doing. See, one of the things that will happen is that I know that I love to sing, but often you can't sing. Like, someone might overhear you. It's too dangerous. Hae Woo, a woman from North Korea, she was in a labour camp because she chose to follow Jesus. And she loved to sing, but she couldn't, because if she did, the guards would beat her. And so what she would do is that she'd wait until she needed to go to the toilet. And there, just under her breath, barely audible, she would recite just some lines from her favourite songs. And some other prisoners would sometimes overhear her and ask her what was going on. And there, in the middle of a labour camp in North Korea, in the toilet, she started a church. Just 4 or 5 of them. They would gather, she'd teach them maybe a few Bible verses and the small set of songs that she knew. And they'd really quietly whisper their way through the songs. And so right now, why don't you put on your favourite worship song, but instead of belting it out, this time whisper your way through, just to understand what it is to not be able to worship loudly, but to have to keep your faith secret. Now, I don't know if you've ever considered the Bible to be a dangerous book, but around the world, it's seen as that. In many countries, it's illegal to own a Bible. In China, you can't even buy a Bible on the internet. I know that for myself, I use Bible Gateway and different websites all the time for the Bible, and I've got a number of Bibles on my shelf. But if I was a secret Christian, that wouldn't be the case. I'd be lucky if I had a Bible, and if I did, I'd have to hide it really well. If you haven't already, make sure you watch the Kim Sang-hwa video, because that tells the story of a girl who found her parents' secret Bible when she was a teenager. You see, people want the Bible, Christians want the Bible because they see it as bringing life. They see it as God's word. And so because of that, they spend a lot of time learning what it says. Have you ever spent time memorising a verse? One of my favourites is from Hebrews 10:23, and it says this: "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess, for he who promises is faithful." And it reminds me that God is worth everything because he's a faithful God and he keeps his promises. So today, why don't you decide to learn a Bible verse? If you don't know where to start or which one to look at, maybe try Joshua chapter 1 verse 9, or the classic John 3:16, or maybe Psalm 23. But get that word into your heart. The final thing that you can do from your home is pray. And the thing is that a lot of the time, Christians around the world, you think that they want us to pray that persecution would stop so that they don't have to be secret anymore. But often they don't ask us to pray for that. They ask us to pray that they would be bold, even when it's dangerous, in sharing who Jesus is. And so today, why don't you pray for Christians that they would be bold, and that Jesus would help them to be brave, even when it might cost them. But the same thing goes for you. Is Jesus saying anything to you today about where maybe you can be brave in speaking out about who he is and what he's done in your life? Hope that these little tips have encouraged you, and that it's given you a bit of an insight into what life is like inside the secret church. Thing is, you can find out more at opendoorsyouth.org, so go check it out, but keep praying and know that they make a difference.